Now, when compared to the Redmi Note 7 Pro, the Redmi Note 7 starts at an even more approachable starting price of just 9,999 rupees. Now, of course, you don't get all the bells and whistles of the Pro version. However, we think Xiaomi has retained just enough to keep this phone competitive. This is our review. We weren't big fans of the way the Redmi Note 6 Pro looked. However, with the new 7 series, Xiaomi has knocked it out of the park. Available in 3 striking colors, the Redmi Note 7 features Gorilla Glass 5 for the front and the back of the phone, which is quite impressive. The body also uses a P2i nano coating, which is said to make the phone splash-proof. The buttons have good tactile response, and on the left we have a single tray for either 2 nano SIMs or 1 nano SIM card and a micro SD card. A hybrid SIM tray is a bit of a bummer, especially considering most recent launches in this segment have had a dedicated spot for expandable storage. The SIM tray also doesn't sit quite flush with the body, which is a little aesthetic blemish that we noticed. Now, it's nice to see Xiaomi finally adopting the Type-C connectivity for its budget offerings. The Redmi Note 7 also has an IR blaster on the top and also has built-in FM radio. There's a white notification LED tucked away at a rather obscure position in the bottom chin, which is very easy to miss. The borders around the 6.3-inch display are quite pronounced and quite noticeable, especially the dewdrop notch which houses the selfie camera. The LCD display has a Full HD Plus resolution with good color reproduction and decent high brightness of 450 nits for viewing the screen in daylight. The phone features a Snapdragon 660 SoC, which is a chip that's been increasingly seen in the sub 15,000 segment thanks to price cuts over the past couple of months. Now, on paper, it's not as powerful as the Redmi Note 7 Pro, which has a Snapdragon 675, but it's still plenty powerful to handle most workloads. Considering you can get this much power for just under 10,000 rupees is quite an achievement in itself. The Redmi Note 7 starts with 3GB of RAM and 32GB of storage, and the one we have comes with 4GB of RAM and 64GB of storage. It runs on MIUI 10.2, which is based on Android 9 Pie, and we also have the February 2019 Android security patch. There's quite a bit of bloatware pre-installed. From the moment you set it up, your notification shade will ideally be full of ads and promotions from stock Xiaomi apps such as the music and the video player. However, there are ways to fix this. Now, armed with a good set of specifications, it would come as to no surprise that the Redmi Note 7 is a good phone to live with. The processor has plenty of power for handling the usual set of social and productivity apps, and it even does a good job in games. Now, the phone does get a bit warm after playing heavy titles such as PUBG Mobile, but nothing so severe that would make you take a break between your gaming sessions. The capacitive fingerprint sensor is easy to reach with your index finger, and it also has a different texture, so it's hard to miss. Apart from the fast fingerprint sensor, the phone also has AI face unlock. Now, this is decently quick too under good light, and there's even a raise to wake gesture, but it's not really reliable in low light where it refuses to work properly. The phone also handles media files very well. Videos are sharp and colors are punchy, although black levels could have been a little better. The single speaker gets fairly loud too, and since it's placed towards the bottom right, it's not easily blocked when holding the phone in landscape mode. Now, the Redmi Note 7 might lack the massive camera sensor of its sibling, however, it still has a pretty decent camera setup. At the back, you get a 12 megapixel primary sensor and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. The main lens has an f2.2 aperture, so we're not really expecting any award-winning low-light shots. The camera app offers features such as AI scene detection along with standard shooting modes such as Panorama, Portrait, Pro, and Square. In daylight, the Redmi Note 7 captures fairly decent images. Colors and details are good, although a bit of sharpness is missing. There's also minor traces of chromatic aberration when shooting against bright light, and HDR doesn't always handle the exposure of the bright areas very well. The camera's AI system does a good job in detecting scenes like buildings, plants, flowers, etc., but doesn't always result in very good images. For instance, with macros, the camera's AI can boost colors to unnatural levels, making the subject look a bit artificial at times. You can switch it off before taking the shot, but there's no way to turn off the effect after in the gallery. The second depth sensor helps in capturing good portrait shots. Edge detection is good when it comes to objects and people. Low light performance is decent but not great. Colors are good and even the finer details in landscape shots is quite legible given ample lighting. Images aren't too noisy either, which is a good thing. Now, just as we were about to wrap up the review, the phone got a system update which added a new night mode to the camera app. Here, it takes a second longer to process, and the end result is generally a bit brighter than using auto mode, but with a bit more grain, and colors can look a bit off at times. The front 13 megapixel camera captures good looking selfies under ample lighting. The AI beautification isn't too aggressive, as we ended up with some pleasing skin softening effects. Now you can shoot bokeh selfies too, and the edge detection is not too bad. In low light, selfies look good, albeit a little soft. Video quality isn't very impressive. When shooting outdoors in daylight, bright areas are often overexposed. Electronic stabilization is applied after you end the recording, as you don't get a preview of how your video will look while filming. There is a noticeable shimmer in the footage as you walk about, but it's not terrible considering the price. Now there's no 4K option, which is forgivable, but you do get 1080p at 60 FPS mode, although we did notice a bit of focus hunting in this mode. You also get other shooting modes such as time-lapse and slow motion, which work fairly well. The Redmi Note 7 has a pretty sizable 4000 mAh battery with support for fast charging. However, you still get only a 10-watt charger in the box. Now the phone does support up to a Qualcomm Quick Charge 4 fast charging standard if you use the right adapter. With the bundle charger, we were able to charge the phone to about 57% in an hour. Battery life is good, as we typically manage to average an entire day's worth of usage and a bit more on a single charge. In a battery loop test, the Redmi Note 7 ran for 12 hours and 52 minutes, which is above average, but at the same time a lot lower than what the Redmi Note 7 Pro did, which ran for over 19 hours with the same battery capacity. With a starting price of just 9,999 rupees, the base variant of the Redmi Note 7 is a no-brainer. You get a good-looking phone with excellent build, a good display, a decent set of cameras, solid app performance, and a day-long battery life. If you're someone who uses 2 SIMs and a microSD card, then this is probably not the phone for you, as the Redmi Note 7 only has a hybrid SIM slot. A couple of other annoyances with the Redmi Note 7 also includes the pre-installed bloatware, average low-light camera performance, and the fact that Xiaomi still doesn't bundle a fast charger in the box. Now the higher priced 4GB version of the Redmi Note 7 that we have here is still a good pick at around 12,000 rupees. However, we do feel that if you are looking specifically for good all-round camera performance, then you'll be better served by phones like the Realme 2 Pro or even the Xiaomi Mi A2. So thanks for watching our review of the Redmi Note 7, and for all things tech, log on to gadgets360.com.